Oh yeah.
Welcome to Off the Stage podcast.
Yes, I did. I forgot my little thingy that connects to that, so you're getting this phone thingy. Anyway, welcome to Off the Stage podcast, the show where we take musicians off the stage and into the pub to talk about the ins and outs of the music world. We're back at the ISIS. It's me, James Berry, it's Conor Michael, and we are joined, oh man, fuck's sake, by Chris Hare. Oh.
Sometimes half the entertainment is watching James struggle to go, oh crap, now it's adverts, oh no.
I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah.
It's like, you know that moment where you've got like YouTube on and then for some reason the advert kicks in. You seen that meme on TikTok and it's something like when you're in charge of the Spotify at a funeral but you haven't paid for Spotify Premium and it's just everybody's listening to the nice quiet music and then it goes, if you join Spotify today for $3.99 a month.
I can imagine that has actually happened.
I can, yeah.
I believe that would actually
I
happen.
imagine so.
Yeah. So welcome, Chris.
Thank you.
Who are you and what are you drinking?
I'm Chris Hare. I'm the singer, guitarist in Chris Hare and Wild Circle. And I'm drinking a pint of ABK, which is just a German lager, I believe, a high quality
Nice,
ISIS lager.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Refreshed.
it's nice. It's kind of like, it's beer garden weather, isn't it?
Yeah.
So I'm pretty like unadventurous to be honest when it comes to like sort of I'm that bloke who like going to like a craft ale pub, look at all the amazing ales and like maybe have a few tastes and then just go have a pint of Stella.
Yeah, just like, have the one you know.
Yeah,
I was always like that, but since we started doing the podcast, sours have become a big thing from here, and that's quite nice actually.
Is it all right?
Yeah.
What do you say it was an Aperol Spritz?
Aperol Spritz
Give it a try.
sour. I wouldn't mind it if that's all right. Yeah.
Very refreshing. It's definitely beer garden weather kind of drink.
Well, I always...
Yeah.
Lovely
It's like
that,
holiday.
isn't it? That's
Holiday
gorgeous.
vibes, isn't it?
That's
Go
what
on,
you're missing
man.
out on.
Oh yeah, that's it's tangy.
Something a bit different, that, isn't it?
See, I'm
Just
getting
drank
heartburn
many euros,
already.
Oh, that's
Yes.
lovely.
That's the first sip and I've got heartburn. That's
Maybe
why
one
I
of them
drank
might be
sours.
enough.
Yeah, honestly, I need me Rennie. That's
It's definitely a summer thing. Do you
Yeah.
notice I've got Stones on downstairs on here now on draft. Stones
All right.
bitter. But I've got some mates who are like really obsessed with Stones. It's become like a bit of a kind
Is that Jordan?
of Jordan and
Yeah.
Chris. Yeah,
That's all I ever see is that thing. Just
yeah, they're
stones,
absolutely mad for it. I think
stones.
they've got it in here.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
kind of like
Specifically for
Spring them
to
in.
with them guys. But I don't know if it's true or not. But apparently there's been like a bit of a blip in like Stones kind of. I think it's probably the brand's probably been pretty much like flatlined for like 25 years, but all of a sudden like the marketing guys are just selling loads of beer in Sunderland for some reason because of them too. But yeah, I didn't fancy the Stones today. It's a bit hot day.
It's
like
you
it's
can't
a bit like
a
Sunday dinner drink.
that
innit?
is
Yeah.
I
Autumn.
have to start with the cider. So I've got the Aspel. Thank you very much for buying, by the way.
You want
It's,
them, yeah, yeah.
But yeah, but beer weather for me, it's like, especially if you have a hard day at work, nice sugary drink just kind of like perks you up a little bit.
Yeah.
You can only have one. I can't have a second cider. I don't know why.
You're
Just
lucky,
like, yeah, you've got to have the one, and I drink it way too fast. That's like a nice proper lager. Is it?
I think one's enough with cider. I agree. I think it's like memories of like drinking it as a teenager.
Yeah,
and just
I think that's
puking up,
me as well,
basically.
yeah. But I always specific. Like, I usually like it can't be like fancy cider. It usually has to be like shit cider for me. Like first drink. It's like Strongbow or Woodpecker out in the garden when it's like sunny. You're like,
Yeah.
So then you get 3/4 of the way. You're like, actually, that's a bit too sweet. So I'll change for something else.
It's the type of weather now, though, isn't it? Like I was driving down today, and I took a different route because I just wanted to go on the main road and go faster. Normally, I cut through from South Shields through Roker, and it's all like 30-40 roads.
Yeah.
Went a different way. Went down the A19. Drove at 70 because you know me, James. I like to stay at the speed limit.
Yeah, you do. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
You wanted to touch a speed, but you wanted to still be a
Definitely
responsible
have
driver.
not received any points in the last few days. But just down there, windows were down, and I had your songs on the playlist as well. And it was one of them like, it's a really nice day. There's no cloud in the sky, and 2 songs perked up. Like there was more than 2, but these are the 2 that were recognisable for the kind of weather it was. And I might get the titles wrong, but it was it 3 days living in Antonia?
3 Lives of Antonia.
There you go.
Yeah, that was close enough, mate.
And then was the one Live Again.
Yes, Live Again, yeah.
And they coming on. It was kind of like it was the right vibe for the type of summer weather that we were having.
Man, that's great to hear.
Whenever you write your music, do you ever kind of choose it via the vibe? You're like, oh, I want to write a summer kind of song, or do you just be like, whatever happens, or?
Yeah, I think, probably more. That's probably not something I've done in the past. I think usually when I set out to write a song, I usually it'll start off with a riff or a melody. But yeah, I think I kind of feel like I've kind of changed the way I'm writing songs in the last few years, and I feel like I do kind of start out a little bit more with an idea, or grow from a vibe or sort of something that I want to go after, or a kind of a lyrical idea rather than kind of sort of hoying your lyrics on top of something that you kind of top of a riff that you kind of feel like works. So yeah, I think so. Especially with these songs, I think I was kind of going after. I was wanting to soundtrack a young man driving down the A19, like just fast enough to
feel
to
good. Not get splashed.
Yeah,
I get it. Well,
so
it works.
mission accomplished.
I was saying to James on the way in, I was like, when I was listening to it, the kind of vibe I was getting from it is it's clearly got a bit of a rock twang to it, but it's not like a heavy, loads of drums kind of rock. It's like if rock song ballads were just a bit more rock, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And I was like, it's kind of like a very soft Def Leppard kind of vibe.
All right,
it's kind of where I got.
Yeah.
I don't know what kind of inspired you to write your songs, or what kind of music you listened to growing up.
Yeah. Well, growing up for me, it was kind of was probably more the sort of indie side of things rather than rock. But that was always on the agenda. I was kind of a kid in the 80s, so like stuff like Guns N' Roses and Def Leppard was always around. It was always around, but it was kind of, I had two like an older brother and older sister who were kind of more from the kind of indie world. So it was more like Smiths, Stone Roses, Primal Scream, the things that really kind of that were that I remember thinking when I was just kicking a football about or playing with toys, just like quite like this. Yeah. But as I got older, I remember when Suede released their first album. I don't know if you're fans of Suede, but
I like a bit of Suede. I've never gotten like into them, but the songs are like you hear the songs on the radio, like it's
got some
nice,
some bangers, haven't they? When they first kind of appeared, I felt like I was maybe about 12, 13, and I felt like that was like my band. Like my brother and sister were a bit. I hadn't discovered via them. Basically, I found it on my own, and I don't think they were into it. So I was like, yes, this is my.
You got your own thing.
I've got my own thing here. So that was kind of that was my gateway into like sort of into really loving music, and then a few years, I think I kind of discovered the kind of the grunge thing a little while after that. Kind of remember not really kind of getting the Nirvana thing at first, but after a few years, I think via the Pixies, via listening to indie stuff from the UK, there was a Pixies tape kicking about in the house. So I remember listening to that, and I was just like, all right. Now I think I kind of understand the American indie thing a little bit more. And that was kind of a pathway to discovering, and then I just went absolutely got obsessed with Nirvana after that. And that was kind of my, figuring out how to write songs. I remember reading a book. I think it's called Come As You Are, one of the decent Nirvana books. I think it came out not long after Kurt died, and it just went into quite a lot of detail about his songwriting technique. Like verse, chorus, verse, because he was a real pop man when it came to structure and songs, which you can tell really. I remember just getting really interested in that, thinking, all right, I might actually understand this now, and I might have a go at kind of writing my own tunes. So that was where I got interested in songwriting.
That's cool. Songwriting's changed now in the pop industry for that, because it is traditionally it goes verse, chorus, and now you'll notice that currently as we record this, the top of the chart is a song called Espresso. Not quite.
I release a song and then someone else brings a song called Espresso out. And then it's just like, oh, cheers, mate.
You can hashtag Espresso.
Can, yeah.
But the way they've done it is they go chorus first, then verse, then chorus. So the new pop structure is chorus first, because it hooks you on immediately.
Yeah.
And here's the other crazy thing: TikToks you're only allowed a minute-long TikToks.
Yeah.
And that's how a lot of songs go viral and popular now, is because people put them in the videos and tag themselves with the songs. So if you're waiting for a chorus to come on, and it's after a minute, then you're knackered. So
Mad, isn't it? Yeah. So social media is basically changing the way people are
the way
structuring
people write
songs.
the songs, and I think it's that, and obviously it's its attention spans as well. The likes of Spotify, where everything's just a skip away.
Yeah.
It's like there's no CDs. Like the kind of 5 minutes introductions, like what you used to do. Like I remember the Alex Harvey band. I don't know if you know the Alex Harvey band. But a lot of their songs, like it took like 3 minutes before the song actually kicked in.
Before you got anything,
but it was just like that build up was pretty cool. You couldn't do that now because people just skip on Spotify. So you need straight away. The hook has to be like the first 3 seconds need to be like, yeah, I like the song.
I've noticed I do guitar lessons with a few like teenagers, and the songs like it makes you feel old. The songs that they're bringing in, you just like, right, okay, so like I've got the verse, and then you start listening, you just like, actually, maybe that isn't the verse.
You don't know what it is.
It's just like, right, I don't understand music anymore. So that's it.
Yeah,
I can't teach anymore.
It'll be back to how it was. Everything goes around in a cycle.
Yeah,
we're just in the
course.
back end of this one.
Yeah, I think so. I think with the inevitable demise of Spotify.
Yeah. To be fair to Spotify, I like the thing they've done recently, where if you've got a playlist on, and I've made my playlist, it'll start putting songs that it thinks should be in your playlist, and it'll just play them on top. So like I've had like my songs on, it was like Espresso Martini, then I had Olivia Rodrigo is slowly crept into my playlist. Not going to be ashamed to say that. But then Taylor Swift songs that I haven't got in there were on there. I was like, I don't recognise this song.
Smart.
And it does that thing where it's like, you might like this one. And now back to James Berry. You might like this one. It's like...
With my last, actually before I rebranded, I had No Regrets. That it did that. But every single song of it was like a Spanish song. And I don't know... I mean, they're all bangers, by the way. Like, they all sound cool, but I don't know why. They were just...
Maybe you've got a market in Spain you should be talking.
Spotify's basis in you will like Spanish.
Yeah, and I don't know why. I don't know if I've typed anything like accidentally put the language as Spanish or whatnot.
Since you've slicked your hair back and tied it back, you look a bit Spanish.
Oh, do you know, okay, fair enough then.
What was it, Berry?
Yeah.
James Berry.
You know what, I've never really started. I got Apple Music, which everything was like set up as Apple, so it kind of does the same thing. But I've kind of avoided the Spotify like trap of kind of like, cause I don't use it, so I haven't got the habit of like checking, just going, have I actually got any listeners on that sort of kind of. I've managed to stay clear of it, but I am a bit jealous at Christmas when everyone gets their
wrapped up.
The wrapped up, and it looks pretty cool, and the Apple one's like, it's not really. It's like a bit of a kind of like, wrapped up from Wish kind of.
Yeah.
kind of a
Spotify's trying to be like social media.
Yeah.
It's trying
Spotify, it's really important for musicians, but the issue is musicians don't want to use Spotify because there's the whole thing of like you don't get paid this much in the income and whatnot. Yeah. So everyone's like, at least iTunes you can buy the song. Yeah. Spotify's a streaming thing.
Well,
But Spotify for independent artists, it's essentially your CV. So if you want to apply to a festival and be like, this is my Spotify page, but all your streams are on Apple, people will be like, oh well, you've only got 100 streams or whatever. Yeah. Whereas on Apple you might have like 10,000, but they're not checking that. They're just going, how many monthly listeners
I still stick tunes on Spotify. I just don't use it as a listener.
But it's why it's important to plug Spotify, because then people go, well, they've got this, right? It's the only thing they check.
Whether we like it or not.
Have you heard? Sorry, I was going to say. Have you heard what Daniel Ek? He's the CEO of Spotify. Have you heard what he said the other day?
Is that it spat with KT Tunstall, hasn't he? Everything's content rather than.
He's called music content, and he says it costs nothing to make because everyone's got laptops and stuff. He's like, you don't realise that like to make a good song, you still need like quite well. Even if you're going to get the equipment, it's expensive. It's like an expensive hobby, and it's like he's just said, he's trying to justify why he pays so little. Yeah. Because everybody's making music. It's easy to make now, and everybody's doing it. So you don't deserve the money. And
it's like, not the kind of person you want at the top.
Not a popular one there, Danny. So
I mean, to be fair, I can't remember who we were talking to, but someone said SoundCloud's making a comeback. That's the place to be now, isn't it?
Yeah, I think I said that.
Well, there you
go.
I
always felt like SoundCloud was quite a cool interface, wasn't it? It just sort of never made that jump to becoming something that.
It's because it's free, and a lot of Gen Zers use it. And TikTok, but TikTok's gonna turn into TikTok Music, which will be like a monthly thing. So I think when they do that,
to TikTok.
I think so, but it's almost like it's connected, but it's like it's a slightly separate thing. They're gonna make it like Spotify, but it's also connected to your TikTok.
Okay.
So you can still kind of listen to like the minute-long songs on TikTok. I don't think that's gonna change. But then it means if you've got TikTok Music, if someone finds you on TikTok and says, "Oh, I quite like that," straight away they can add you to your playlist.
Oh, that's cool.
Which is what Spotify's trying to do. Spotify's trying to do Spotify Shorts now. So they're trying to compete with TikTok, and they're never going to win.
No, TikTok's just blown up.
you can't
I think the pandemic helped TikTok massively.
Oh, I did.
Yeah,
that was the big switch
yeah.
of, I'm never going to use it to... I mean, I've been in the house for 60 days at this point. Go on, what's the worst that can happen? And you wake up 4 years later, you're like, oh my God.
Yeah.
I think Donald Trump's on there as of today.
Oh, yeah.
Love the American politics at the minute. We're going to take a short break in a second, but the final question I've got for yourself there. Have you been inspired by any sort of local acts and bands? Have you ever seen someone do something that you thought, oh, fuck, yeah?
Yeah, definitely, yeah. I mean, I think the local scene's really strong at the moment, but thinking back to kind of, again, when I was a lot younger, when I kind of started off playing in bands and doing gigs, there was still a big, like, punk thing, like a big punk scene in Sunderland, sort of based around, like, this place wasn't active at the time, or if it wasn't like known as a music venue, but the Museum Vaults up the road, there was still a really big, like, guys who were like people in bands who were a lot like older than us, but they were just like a really sound kind of generation of like sort of older musicians who were really helpful, like getting, you know, the music we were making wasn't really punk, it wasn't really kind of, but it never really felt like it was about that with those guys, you know, like it was more just like anybody doing anything creative, that's a good thing for the city. And so yeah, I think definitely like that crowd, thinking like particularly like Frankie Stubbs, who ran the studio up in the bunker at the time, were really inspired. Just people who, like, I think what I got from people like that was just to encourage younger people to kind of to follow what you're doing and basically, like, you know, be sound about it, encourage creativity, and so I always found those guys pretty inspiring.
Yeah, mint.
That's cool.
That's good. That's how it should be.
Yeah.
I've had a couple of people, like, when I've gone to gigs, like recurring gigs, and someone's like, I did a private gig the other week, and someone I do it every year for them. And he was like, oh, look, I used to play football and stuff, but I've done my ACL, so I don't get around to doing sports as much. Yeah. But watching what you do, like, it's made us pick up a guitar, and he started teaching himself guitar over the last 4 months. It's like, came from yourself. There was a lad in Birmingham I used to do a cricket club all the time, and he was like, oh, just the way you use a loop pedal, so I've got a loop pedal and I've started using it that way, and it's cool to see it roll off.
Yeah, absolutely.
And, like, inspiration comes from anything. But yeah, we'll take a short break and we'll come back to part 2.
Yeah,
nice one.
It's that side, isn't it?
Oh,
Doesn't really matter, does it?
Oh, there's Mary Ann Cotton coming through.
Yeah, pretty much. And welcome back to side 2, where we have Instagram questions. You always look at us like that when I'm... You always makes us look...
I just want you to start making your own soundboard things.
I know.
That should be it, like Instagram questions.
Yeah, I know. It's just... My thought was, like, do I do that? And or is it, like, really cheesy? But I guess me just doing... It's, like, super cheesy anyway, so I don't know.
Make a beat. I've been watching...
Hold on, just 2 seconds. Before,
sorry, mate.
Sorry to interrupt you. Before you say, is that too cheesy, I just want to remind you what the We're Back Baby sound was.
We're back, baby!
So don't worry about anything being too cheesy, James.
That's a good point.
Sorry, you were saying.
Yeah, I've been watching me, like, YouTube thing at the minute, just... you know, when you just need to veg out and just it's watching like old episodes of The Big Breakfast and just stuff from the 90s, and particularly The Big Breakfast, the sounds just amazing. the jingles that like Johnny Vaughan was coming up with, and
it's just like
no one does this anymore.
Yeah,
like, but I think for me it's like it's hitting back to things like I used to, you know, when you were a kid, you just like hear that again, just get that was mint.
Yeah. But you've got your recording thing in your house. Get on it, James. Do some work.
Yeah,
once,
I know.
will you?
I know. I need to.
I'm done.
As James says, we've got some Instagram questions. Before we do that, if anybody somehow skipped halfway through, welcome back. Conor Michael, this is James Berry. This is Chris Hare. We've got Ben_Martin___. I think it's just 3. Who's your favourite local band?
Oh, I know why he's asking that one. Funny
Not
enough,
him.
Ben, he's actually in my favourite local band, so he knows what he's doing. So Ben's in House Proud. You've done a podcast with him. Absolutely top lad.
Yeah.
But yeah, House Proud. I really enjoyed the performance he did with with you fellas.
Yeah.
I think we did Dead Eagle, didn't they? Which is
Dead Eagle,
yeah.
aye.
And I think the mint. Ben's actually the drummer in my band, so
Yeah.
that's
just
the reason.
okay.
But yeah, I think House Proud are absolutely mint. They are my favourite local band. Just they're getting better and better live every time. There's just something really different about them.
Yeah.
I'm really
it's cool to
really
see,
enjoy
like.
watching them progress. Yeah. But yeah, Ben's a top fella. I met him like sort of just when I started this band. I didn't really kind of intend for it to, or I didn't know whether it would be a band at first. I just kind of wrote a batch of songs about a year and a half ago, and I kind of like hadn't had a band together. I'd just been knocking stuff up kind of on my own solo for a few years, or with my pal Guy who's also in the band, but we hadn't done it with drummer and bass player and stuff. And got these songs. So these sound like they might work well with the band. And Ben ended up playing the drums. Just give it a try one day, and we just like, he's a lot younger than me, but we just like gelled straight away. He's got a really like amazing like music knowledge of like stuff that like, because when I joined the band with these guys, I was thinking, oh, they're a lot younger than me. Like my knowledge of like recent music is pretty limited. Like I can go to about like 2005. Anything after that, like I haven't been listening to. So so I was like, are they gonna get the references that I'm? But Ben's just like, and Patrick as well as in the band, have got like really encyclopedic knowledge of like music from the
know
like,
it all.
60s to the mint. So
That's good.
but yeah, so House Proud are my favourite local band.
Well
done, Ben, asking that question.
He's got a second question for you. What's your favourite gig so far?
That we've done.
I don't. It just says favourite gig. So
I'd say what
I'm
you've
guessing
done.
that's-
Yeah, what you've done. Let's make it interesting.
House Proud.
We did do a show together here actually a few months ago, which was really good fun. House Proud were headlining, we did a support. But I think my favourite gig that we've done would probably, again, it was here last summer. When we got started with it, did a gig up at the Bunker beginning of last year, and then in the summer we did a headline show here, and it was just a really good night. It was, for me, that felt like just like I want to put the effort into this again. It was just a good really good gig. That was probably my favourite one. Middle of I think it was like back end of August last year.
Nice.
I really like playing here. I think it's just a nice room. It's got a nice,
it is,
nice vibe. Yeah,
It's got good history for music as well.
It's a nice size. It's the first ever gig we played, but there was and it was like, it just looked, I can't even remember exactly how it looked, but I remember the stage was at the back, not upstairs.
Right.
But there was a stage
Yeah, I
at the
remember.
back.
Yeah,
This
it was
been
weird,
like
wasn't it? The way it being set up when it.
This was between
Yeah.
2006, 2007 maybe.
It was before Neil and everything, and then
Yeah.
they
But
kinda
it closed
got
down.
started.
But it wasn't a very good gig. But
Yeah.
it was with my old band. I had like a bandana and everything, because I thought
Yes.
I'd be like really cool and stuff. And everyone took the mick out of us. And I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna fucking bring this bandana back.
I nearly, I was looking for a new brand image last year, and I went for sweatshirt and beanie hats, but I nearly went bandana. I'm not even joking. Just trying them on in Ibiza last year. I was like, I don't think if I grow my hair long enough, that'll work, and I just went for the hats instead.
Yeah, man.
I was
I'm gonna try and
thinking
get
about
some little, like tennis kind of like little
little
yeah,
what's it called, sweatbands.
Yeah, I used to love them when I was a kid. I'm gonna bring them back. I had a
It
weird
does
one in here not so long ago though. At Christmas we did like a charity gig, and just think about like the size of the room, and it was for Chris Thompson, the Stockton Road Hit Squad. It was a really good gig. Did a set for that. Literally walked off stage. Obviously it's not a very big venue, and went to stand there where the desk was, and there was this fella like really long hair, like sort of like dead handsome lad, and he's just like and you kind of just want to stay in the shadows for a few minutes after you played, and anyway he was just like, what's your name? I was like, oh, Chris, and he was just like, are you a musician? And I was just like, mate, I was literally on stage like 15 seconds ago, like
You look like the guy who was on stage.
attention. Yeah, like it's not far. I've literally just put my guitar down and walked over here, and I think he was just like, I'm absolutely big. So I was like, all right.
There you go.
That explains it.
At James.Critchlow said, who's your favourite Bunker employee and why is it Critch?
Oh man, like Critch is a great lad. You're familiar with the Bunker up the road, So I work there with Kenny and but they're all my favourites. The bunker staff are a class at the minute. There's loads of really talented tutors there, and it's really nice because I've been involved with the bunker. Like, started going there when I was like a teenager, like back in the 90s. So I've seen it like have a lot of kind of ups and downs over the years, and it feels really good at the minute. It's got good.
Really good gigs that they've put on. I mean, the whole kind of recording the live performance, and I mean that's invaluable. That
it's really helpful, isn't it? They're really good. They're good quality like videos.
Yeah, they're really good. Like because it's like mic'd up from the it's recorded from the desk, so you're getting a really good
sound.
quality sound, and obviously you're getting two multi-camera things. And for a lot of people like who, and especially like the young bands coming up, they can't afford like videographers and stuff like that.
Yeah, you're not going to get that elsewhere, right? So I think it is to really. I think people they really appreciate like that system as well. Just like there might only be a handful of people at the gig, so it's not going to generate a load of money, but you're going to get this really like useful promotional sort of tool out of it. So yeah, it is developing the venue there was a really good idea of Kenny's. I think they like to bring that back because it kind of everything feeds each other now. The lessons and the venue.
It's the thing that they don't have to do that. Like they can just put on a few bands, take a bit of ticket money, and that be that. But that extra little thing, it just shows they do want to help other local bands to kind of do better. It's good to see.
Yeah, getting a good mix of artists as well. I think it's the venue. A bit like this, obviously a little bit smaller than this, but I think it's just a really good size because it's an established act. You can go there and kind of fill it out and have a really good atmosphere. But at the same time, bands just starting out, it's a really good sort of testing ground to figure out how they want to sound and stuff. So,
I'd agree.
So yeah, they're all my favourite employees. I'm not going to pick one. That wouldn't be the right thing to do.
But it's Chris.
Rich is a good lad. I've just seen him actually.
Here, at PhilJax96 says, "Will you sell us your jawbone?"
Right, Phil's the sound guy at the bunker.
Okay.
Obviously, like it's a bunker centric set of questions. This, but what he's referencing there, the Blot Outdoor Show. I don't know if he's familiar with that. No. It's he's gonna. I'm gonna introduce this as something that's gonna I would imagine. It's gonna fill a lot of time in. So the Blot is basically this guy who goes out stealth camping on a Saturday night every week.
I know it's I've heard. I haven't seen them, but my mates go on about it all the time.
Yeah.
To the point where they're looking for camping gear to
to go and do it. I think he does. It started, but it's mad because he does he started off doing videos. He's going to the lakes and he's pretty he knows his stuff. That the guy who makes them, but the videos that are really that have catapulted, that have gone viral, the ones where he's basically voluntarily homeless for a night in the middle of a roundabout in Silksworth, or
that's the
it's
thing
just
that
but they're class. Once you get into them, you just I didn't know if it was just a Sunderland thing, because most of these videos are in there's something nice about quite noirish Sunderland, some of the places he goes to, you're just whoa, I wouldn't camp there. But him and his mates, they're really sound blokes basically. They just have a right laugh. They have loads to drink, take loads of dubious food, and but I didn't know whether it was just a Sunderland thing, because most of my mates who watch it were from Sunderland. But Patrick, who's in Wild Circle with us, started watching Meese from Shields, and he's probably a bigger fan than anyone else now. But they're pretty addictive vids. I definitely recommend them. But "sell as your jawbone" is one of the catchphrases. So
Alright.
that's where he's coming from. They've got loads and loads of catchphrases.
My mate lives in Texas now, and he takes photos every now and then of him watching it on the widescreen just in Texas.
I took it down. My brother lives in Norfolk. Introduced him to it when I went down a few months ago, and he's addicted to it now as well.
Yeah.
So I think when you live, probably if you're from Sunderland, you live elsewhere, it's a weird taste of home.
Yeah.
I gotta say, I
remember that.
I'm blanked out all of this.
I'm going to send you some links, man.
Yeah, man. Final Instagram question we got. Pip Junior 3927 said, if you get the opportunity to have coffee and convo with any person, alive or dead, who do you choose?
Whoa, okay.
I assume we all choose alive, don't we?
Yeah, I don't think I'd want to have it'd be a bit of a ball and it'll smell a bit as well, I think.
Presumably he means that they kind of resurrected
okay.
I don't know. I think probably maybe I don't know if I'd pick somebody who I kind of like, who I would love. You know what I mean? I don't know if I'd want to. I think
Never
maybe
meet your idols, innit? That's
and you run the risk of like disappointment, aren't you?
Yeah.
Like, so maybe somebody, I don't know, maybe someone like Phil Collins, maybe just somebody who like I'm not particularly like not a massive fan of, but I'm quite interested in like just to find out what the crack is with that fella, you know, like what I kind of got back into Phil Collins when I was a kid. Like Phil Collins was, I don't know if people realise how absolutely massive he was in the late 80s, early 90s, and but he was, and then there was obviously a bit of like backlash when like the whole Britpop thing happened, and it was just like Phil Collins, like then he went to America and became like a hip hop idol then, and but yeah, he was very much kind of like, you know, went from one extreme to the other in the UK. But I was like a couple of years ago, I kind of went in a bit of a deep dive, just like I want to like, somebody was like drawing us back into like, just I want to find out. It was a bit of nostalgia, like a lot of the songs remind us when I was my dad used to have the tapes in the car and stuff, but just quite like interesting music, like, so I think I might
Phil Collins.
Maybe Phil Collins.
He pretty much invented like reverb on snare drums
And Tarzan.
Cool stuff,
like
Game reverb.
But do you know what Phil Collins, because everyone like, because he's a good, obviously he does good songs, but everyone hates him for no, you know what other band is like that? Nickelback.
Yes.
I love Nickelback.
Yeah.
Nickelback is like they were the modern, they're not modern anymore, but they were like the modern Phil, the ones
rock now, aren't they?
Yeah, absolutely, man.
And you had James Blunt as well. Everybody hated James Blunt's music until he got on Twitter, and then everybody loves him again.
Yeah.
Like,
He just seems sound as anything,
funny,
doesn't he? So he'd be good to have a pint with, I think. But like Phil Collins, someone like, I think like be interesting, because I get the feeling he probably wouldn't give you much time. It would be hard work, and it might be quite like interesting.
imagine if it's awkward, he'd be like, right, okay.
Yeah, he'd be like, no, I think I want this one now.
I've got to go.
Wasn't an updated reverb on that.
That's how he knocks on the door. Oh, who's at the door? I don't know. That's Phil. Go on, Phil, get in.
Yeah, come on, coffee's on.
You got anyone you'd want to go for a coffee with?
Don't know. The CEO of a major record label.
Okay.
Just shoot my shot.
Yeah, gotta give it a try.
If you like it, I like.
Yeah. Never thought that far ahead. I think I go Jack Black, to be honest with you. We mentioned him early on.
Yeah.
I've got a controversial opinion at the minute. I like a controversial opinion. Obviously, at the minute I'm going for Redheads of Greg's.
Okay.
And originally the first controversial opinion I put on the podcast was I would rather have parsnips and gravy on my Sunday dinner.
Yeah.
That got a bit of a backlash, didn't it?
Yeah.
It's a bit of a riddle, that one, like, because I don't mind parsnips, but I don't think I could handle a parsnip without gravy. So
Honey roasted, man, you're missing out.
Yeah,
it's
that's
good.
Christmas dinner only surely going to that effort though.
No, I could still do it on a normal Sunday,
That's impressive, mate.
I don't think I'm wrong in this, but Jack Black is probably the closest, if not on par, musician to Freddie Mercury.
He's good like any.
If you turn around with like vocal range and ability, and I know the songs are very different, but I was listening to Cockapoo the other day. It's basically Bohemian Rhapsody, the way that the story unfolds all the way through it.
Okay.
And if you get a chance to listen to it, and you like, so did Ashley, like, now that you've mentioned it, you kind of hear that obviously the change in tempo and everything in Bo Rap. It's the exact same that goes through a Cockapoo.
Yeah, energy's not too dissimilar.
Sweary version of Queen.
Yeah, I guess he does have that very much. I don't like to say main character energy because that's like a kind of negative comment, but he's got that like front man kind of
If I was making
charisma, it's the word I was looking for.
What was he in? He was in something recently with a massive beard. It was like one of the recent Star Wars things, or?
Oh, he was. It was the Mandalorian. Was it the Mandalorian? It was like the Mandalorian or Boba Fett. It was one of them.
Was in one of them,
yeah. With Lizzo, there's
that's right.
He's everywhere, though, isn't he?
Yeah, he does everything, but yeah, I'm sure he was an actor before he was a musician.
I don't know.
Pretty
Seemed
sure,
like he
was
had
on
his like
Mars
chops,
Attacks.
like, didn't he? In School of Rock, you tell he.
Because he was on Mars Attacks, which was a 90s film.
Yeah, it's an old one.
I don't think it lasted very long on that, but.
So on live the other week, really good frontman. But yeah, that's my comparison from. He's basically the modern Freddie Mercury.
So we've got
and
Phil
if anybody
Collins,
disagrees,
Jack Black and
comments.
Who was yours, James, again? The head of a record company.
I don't know what the names are, but it's just the head of the CEO.
Simon Cowell, basically.
Okay.
I'll not do Simon Cowell, do someone else, just like maybe not a major one, but just like a one that'd be okay. I quite like it. Here's a lot of money. make an album and go on tour and always it back when you I don't know.
Yeah,
Weird. I don't know if I saw a room with Simon Cowell, Phil Collins, and Jack Black in. I might not go in. Like,
No, yeah.
I mean, I would. It's good to know what's going on.
It's going to be a weird energy in it, but
what have you got coming up?
Couple of things. I've got a EP coming out on the 21st of June.
What's it called?
It's called Chris Hare and Wild Circle.
Oh, okay.
Self-titled.
Yeah, self-titled. It's not very imaginative, is it? But
Just
does what it says on the tin.
Sorry to cut you off. Yeah, I should ask this in the first part. Yeah. Why is it called And Wild Circle?
Rather than just Wild Circle,
Rather than just like Chris Hare or Chris Hare Band.
Well, I was doing a lot of like solo stuff before, so I already had like me kind of Spotify and all that kind of set up. And when I started the band, like I was saying before, I wasn't like too sure whether it was going to be a band at first, so it just kind of like evolved in that way. When we did get the band sorted, seems a bit like sort of egomaniacal, doesn't it? Like it's a band, but I'm still the most important one. Kind of. But
it's a lot, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's just kind of evolved that way. But it very much became like a band thing as soon as so I realised it wasn't like a solo project anymore, So that's where the Wild Circle thing came from. But yes, that's me. Guy, pal of mine who I've been in bands with for years, Patrick and Guy. But it's kind of like something we're all really enjoying playing, and might sort of expand it out to two other musicians as we continue writing, and maybe maybe expand the circle a little bit. So the EP is the first thing that we've been recording Live Again that you had to listen to last year, and recorded that up in the bunker with Phil, and then since then we've been recording drums at the bunker. Then I've got a little kind of studio set up at home, so we've been working on it there, and we've put together another 5 tracks. There's 6 tracks in total, and we're just getting that finished just this weekend gone.
Brilliant.
So looking forward to getting it out. So that's on
quite
the 21st.
a popular thing now, isn't it? You record the drums like in a good tested room, and then you take it home, and then you
do everything else
because it's a tough. I mean, I'm quite fiddly. Like to have like the pressure of just like, I mean, you know more than anyone, kind of like the pressure of just, okay, I've got this time, let's see what I can do. If you take it home, then you've got like, you're able to have the knowledge to kind of like mix and do the recordings yourself. It just takes a lot of that pressure off, doesn't it?
Doesn't it? Yeah, I'm exactly the same, mate. I love the experience of recording in the studio, but for me, I'm not sure that the pressure like of knowing you've got time constraints works. I like to kind of like really kind of like, sort of geek out and just do 1,000 guitar takes if necessary, and I think the other lads quite enjoy. It's really because I can remember the days before you could like kind of throw everything around online, and that kind of collaboration just wouldn't have been possible. Everybody being able to kind of record the parts at home and then just somebody else put it together. It's the novelty still hasn't worn off. What you can do with like Pro Tools and stuff now. So it's been good being able to put it together like that. It takes a lot longer, I think, because sometimes if you just right, we're in a studio for 4 days, get it done.
I think it takes a bit of like mental discipline, doesn't it? That's why I like the studio. It's like I'm at work.
Yeah, I'm gonna be honest.
To work
like,
now.
I'm gonna get a product out of this.
The more I think of it, because I keep putting off my recordings, the more I think about it, the more I just think I should just do a studio, and just kind of like, because I mean a lot of my songs are quite nitty gritty anyway, so I've been trying to like play with like production value and stuff, and a lot of the time it just doesn't really work, because the songs don't match that kind of like. There's nothing clever about the songs really. They're just no frills. We're a 3-piece. Yeah. Sometimes I think I'll just play it all live in a studio. Yeah. Get someone else to mix it. It's gonna cost a little bit of money, but like then we've got it. It's there.
Just get a nice raw live sound.
You should pick 3 songs. And you get to know your producer and stuff, and you'll feel a different sound to it. Yeah. Don't get me wrong. What's coming from here anyway sounds mint, but if that's like an 8 out of 10. That studio might be the next.
Yeah, it will be, because they've got someone who actually knows how to mix shit. It's not me.
It drives you mad doing stuff on your own as well, doesn't it? Like I love it, but it is like sometimes the route to like insanity. I literally lost, like, I was kind of mastering the tracks for the EP at the weekend, and I just felt like my ears stopped working. And I've done it before, and I started like spiraling into like, at one point I had like 5 different masters, and I was just like,
Final mix.
yeah, I was like, yeah, and I was just like, which one of them? I was sending it around to the lads, just have I rolled too much bottom end off here, and like everyone was just like, mate, like they all sound pretty much the same, just like
Yeah,
like, you're driving
I've
yourself
done
mad.
that. I went to my car, listened to all of them, and then like this is like a week after I've actually decided which mix it was. I was like, actually, they literally all sound exactly the same.
Yeah.
Just like I've just drove myself crazy for the past week and a half, just like constantly like tinkering with these flipping songs, and you're just like, oh, God.
Sometimes you've got to give yourself a bit of time. When you start to get like fatigued, just like, right, I'll come back to this in like 3 or 4 days when they've like covered. Otherwise, you're not gonna. Yeah. Then it's just not gonna work, basically.
Yeah.
But yeah, it is. I do love the fact that you can, you can. I think it's one of my favourite things about technology.
Yeah.
Record at home now. Yeah.
Should show this to the guy at Spotify to
Yeah.
let him know how hard it is to
get a load of that.
make a flipping song.
But yeah, sorry. So come back. I've got the gig, the EP out on the 21st. Just like a digital release. So that'll be
cool.
Spotify and everything, and then we're playing at Pop Rex on the 28th. 28th. Friday the 28th. So
is that your gig or is that like a sports slot?
Yeah, it's our gig. So Ben from House Proud's going to do a support slot, and Patrick, it's pretty convenient because we're all in the van.
Yes,
so we'll be there. We'll all be there. So, but yeah, it should be really good. We're we haven't. I've just been doing a few acoustic gigs the last couple of months. So it's the first time we've played together.
That'd be cool. Be good to get into it.
Yeah, definitely.
Mint.
So yeah, it should be cool.
Cool. And then if people would drop you a follow, what is the social tags?
It's shit, man. I think it's here.
Yeah, I think it is.
Yeah. Chris Hare on Wild Circle on Instagram. I don't know if you can check that for us, mate. I've got 2 Instagrams and one's. I've got 2 here.
You did send us a message on Instagram. I was just seeing if I thingied it or not, but obviously must have read it.
Feel like a right granddad now. I'll just get my phone out.
We tagged here.
That's
what we tagged in earlier.
Yeah.
It's Chris Hare in the Wild Circle.
Yeah, that's me.
Yeah.
And Facebook is just Chris Hare.
Cool.
Chris Hare Music.
Mint. And what are you going to play for us next?
I'm going to do a song called The Strangest Hour of Night.
Is that on the new EP coming up?
No, it's an older track actually. This one's from an EP called History of the World in 4 Numbers that I put out in 2019.
Brilliant. Cool. Thank you very much for coming down.
Yeah, it's been great. I've enjoyed it.
It's been a good chat.
Enjoyed it. Good job with the podcast as well. Really enjoyed it.
Thank you very much.
Enjoy watching
Cheers.
Watching.
No, it feels nice to be back. To be honest, I felt we were struggling a little bit the past few kind of
it was
things.
I was feeling very spaced out. If you actually watch me in any of them, you can see me just like zoned out half the time. I'm like, I'm just not here.
Now I feel we're having like really nice conversations and stuff, and
I think it's important things like this that you're doing, because like we were saying before, there isn't, you're consistently doing it and make sure that they go out and giving bands and artists the chance to kind of get in and talk about what they're doing. It's pretty invaluable thing.
I think it's the amount of like talent that's in the Northeast, and the tiny amount of exposure we get, in my opinion, is criminal. I think if we can do something just to boost it up a little bit, then I feel like we're doing our part anyway. So.
Definitely.
And if you guys want to do your part, follow us at Off The Stage UK. Subscribe to anything. Do you know we're only about 30 followers on Instagram away from hitting the 1,000 mark?
Oh, is that when I get my haircut?
I think so, yeah.
So you agreed to that, have you?
Yeah. Agreed to a haircut once we reach 1,000.
35 away.
Oh, right.
So we're getting there. So if you haven't yet, follow us on Instagram at Off The Stage UK. We're going to do some selfless plugs right now. This episode came out on the 11th of June, James. So on Friday gone, I've just released the EP. It's called All or Nothing. 2 songs, Come and Kiss Me and Alone, were already out, but now there's 2 new tracks. Go check it out, and hopefully by the time this comes out, I've confirmed it, but my next single's out 26th of July. Follow me on Spotify, Instagram. I'm at Conor Michael UK. You can get all the information.
My song that you've all already heard before, called No Regrets, the remastered version is out on Friday, like last Friday.
The same day.
I'm not good with time travel. Even though I love Back to the Future, I'm not good with time travel. Last Friday, my song No Regrets was out. Give it a stream. Our socials will be tagged on this as well. So yeah, at Torn Apart by Lisa will be mine.
Yeah.
And yours Conor Michael UK. So.
Thank you very much for coming down.
Yeah.
Thanks
and
a lot,
we'll get to the next song.
Yeah, okay. We'll see you in a bit. That's the one.
Okay. shadows of the old part of town. People come and go now, singing high and singing low down. Some have seen all the streets of this world. When they ran, they saw others return. It's the changing of the light. It's the darkest part of the night. See the birds, they hover by. It's the strangest hour of the night, and I still hear every beat of your drum. When you return, you'll see others run. With her from the sea. Now every day repeats, every little dream repeats and repeats. And there's a sound from the edge of the world. When you run, you'll see others return. There's a sound from the edge of the world. When you run, you'll see others return.
Thanks, fellas.